Just because hundreds of years went by, it doesn't mean, oh, because we've rectified the law allows no discrimination, therefore we've surpassed racism. Hey guys, it's Naeem. Now today I'm going to be reacting to Family Guy roasting every place on earth. I mean, I know Family Guy roasts a lot of places here and there. I do remember, like, they pictured India as the stereotypical dirty place, unfortunately. And even I succumb to that thought. Even though I've never been to Bangladesh, I even have that mindset because of the adverts and just living here in the West. It just gives you that perception. Anyways, like and subscribe and you get a free candle, which, as you can see, I always put a candle there. But you know when it gets too deep and the wick, if what you call it, like, gets stuck in the candle and then it just won't... How do you prevent that? It just digs a hole and then there's a point where it just stops. Like, so I've never had the whole candle. But anyhow, let's get into it. Mexico, of all places.
The Feast of San Gennaro. Every child here has seen a relative murdered in a barber chair.
Mom, I can handle space camp. I'm not stupid.
Wait, what? I didn't even
On the way
understand.
back, we're stopping at that Down syndrome camp we passed.
Peter, that was the University of Florida.
Shouldn't be hard in this dreamy land of wonder. I can already smell the enlightenment and
India?
tranquility.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean.
This is wonderful, isn't it, Brian? It's so tranquil, I'm tearing up. Come on, I think I see a cat.
It's obviously a stereotype. And besides, actually, if you go to places in London, streets that it is dirty and smelly, because I guess a bunch of homeless people live there. And besides, you don't clean every crack and crevice of the place. So it's universal. I guess I've never been, so I can't comment, but it's actually more beautiful than you imagine.
Ugh, God knows what I'm gonna find in steerage. Bunch of drunk, fat, pie-faced Irish fools. Excuse me, have any of you seen a blonde teenage boy?
Who's asking? Yeah, who the hell are you? And I'm the big...
That's funny.
Okay, Stewie. This is favorite Belarusian children book called Good Night Moon of Chernobyl. Good Night Radiation House. Good Night Melted Phone.
I need to read and watch more about Chernobyl. Because all I know is like the whole radiation stuff, but I don't necessarily know the ins and outs.
Good night glowing milk. Good night bleeding grandpa's eyes. Good night two heads.
Which, by the way, I did have a conversation with my brother about, you know, when you consume news and articles about specific stuff. For example, what's relevant now in the whole Texas thing and the storm and outage. I argued with him, even though I'm being hypocritical in some sense, that it's more important to understand the more foundational levels, which is more to do with the laws, to do with the, say, constitution, for example, to do with more and even basic philosophy and economics and stuff like that. Then higher up you get your punditry, commentary and articles to supplement your foundational reading. Kind of like when you go to university, you have a primary reading in your syllabus, and then you have second and tertiary, or whatever the word is, reading. Likewise here, I think it's important to have foundational stuff. If everyone did that, though, we wouldn't have a society running. Everyone would be philosophizing and just doing theoretical work while people slave away doing the actual practical menial jobs. However, I do think in an ideal world, Plato's Republic perhaps, where people enlighten themselves and humble themselves, realizing what's my core beliefs, and then do I disparage this person or group of people based on my core beliefs, or do I disparage them and admonish them because I'm playing for a team? Unfortunately, people look at politics like it's a sport, like as if I'm with Labour, I'm with Conservatives, and rather than... And I'm not being a centrist either. I think that's stupid, because there's some things that make sense to have compromises on. Other things you wouldn't never dream of compromising on. But it's more just, do I actually believe this rather than X did it, therefore anyway.
Did cat. Next book. Everybody poops. Blood.
Don't forget we were on the Nazi side.
Yeah, the bastards making a break for it, just like South America.
Italy.
A lot of black guys over there.
Hey, man, where you going?
Oh, I'll be back. I'm coming back. I'll be right back.
Hi, do you like South
They
Dakota?
never did,
Want
Mike.
to see Mount Rushmore? Come to North Dakota. It's just a very long drive from wherever you live. Best of all, most of the good license plates aren't taken yet. Imagine coming here and
I don't know anything
having
about this
Jews,
reference,
or
'cause
Yay
obviously-
Jews, or Boo Jews, depending on where you stand on Jews. North Dakota, we're not even the best Dakota.
See, the bowler hurls the ball towards the batsman who tries to play away.
Like, this kind of British stereotype confuses the crap out of me, because where are you getting this from? Like, where... These people...
Fine leg. He endeavours to score by dashing between the creases, provided the wicketkeeper hasn't whipped his bails off.
Unless, like, you're
Anybody
from
get that?
The only
17th,
British idiom
18th
I know
century.
is that fag means cigarette.
Well, someone tell this cigarette to shut up.
Damn.
believe we didn't find God in Jerusalem.
Well, we'll have to keep looking. Oh, here's our bus to the airport.
By the way, Islamically, this goes without saying, but there's no like actual command for one to blow themselves up. There's no, I don't know where it originated. There was probably like suicide bombers and different terrorist actions, and they probably used it as a means. But yeah, like it's not an Islamic or Muslim phenomenon. Suicide bombing. I guess it's been utilized or usurped or hijacked by other people, but you wouldn't. It's not to say that there aren't war references in the Quran. Of course, it documents historical actions, places, battles. But yeah.
That was super loud.
You're dead. What? But I'm deaf. Sorry, dude. Super deaf. You're...
If any of you have actually watched all my videos, have I gone with one video without yawning? I actually, I need to not do it.
So, what now? I go to heaven? Nope. When a deaf dies, he gets reincarnated. You're being reincarnated as a Chinese baby right now. Girl.
Yes, well, if they want to make me into a...
Do they still do that? I'm sure they don't do the one child thing anymore. But it is an interesting idea about population control, because yeah, as a matter of the ecological damage versus also human productivity, spirituality, happiness, etc. Is there a limit to how many people we can have on this planet? Of course, this sounds as though we're kings, we're God, and we're just, which we kind of do anyway. We play God with money, with lives as leaders. And I'm just wondering, logistically, there must be a boundary to even... like for armies, for example, you can't have an army of say 100 people against another nation. You need a minimum of thousands of people. Likewise, I don't know. It's bad. This is just off the top of my head. These are bad analogies, but you know what I mean. There must be logistically boundaries in place. Like for example, London. How many people can live in London? It's a major capital city, but logistically, it's still. I mean, the houses here are very small. We have flats. Outside of London, there's more room. You have to pay more for a smaller place because this is where the financial hub is. Well, was. I don't even know if the pandemic has destroyed London. But probably not. That's an exaggeration. But yeah. This is like 2 minutes in and I'm
monster like
yapping.
those people, we'll give them a monster. Like when Godzilla attacked Haiti.
Oh yeah, when was the earthquake? Like 2008 or something, I can't remember.
People of France, a good-looking, depressed guy smoking a cigarette is not a movie. And your sirens sound like gay guys having a threesome.
Oh, one time I went to Paris. This was for sixth form, so this might be college. And it was with some of my classmates. And I wouldn't say I got along with everyone, but I knew them, you know what I mean? And anyway, so we had like an hour break from everyone and we could just do what we want. I just chose to go on my separate way. We had a meeting place, so they said be back. The teacher said be back within an hour here. And anyway, I was going in randomly into places in Paris, and then I saw a mosque. I found a little alleyway mosque. It was beautiful. I thought I took pictures of it, but apparently not. It was beautiful. It was like there was an open space where you can just pray, and anyway, and there was hardly anyone there. Literally no one there. Then some woman comes in, and she said something in French, and then she just stayed silent and looked at me like I was some strange creature. Yeah, that stays with me, man. Because the mosque, I thought she would be a Muslim, so because she had a headscarf on herself. Yeah.
I say, we're on quite a run. We blew up the Great Wall of China, bombed the Eiffel Tower, and look at this note I sent off. Dear Pakistan, up yours. Love, India. Let's see what happens.
Pakistan used to be part of India, right? Likewise, Bangladesh or Bengal. I don't know.
They
what
did
the
not
distance
need much.
We now return to Ethiopian hoarders.
I don't know how it got like this.
Hey, that's mad deep. You know what I just realized? No, I'll leave it.
All right, we'll come to dinner. But I want you to know I'm very skeptical about this whole thing.
Oh, that's okay. Listen, I was skeptical about traveling to Mexico. I took one step up.
I watched. I know that's bashing Mexico, saying they're brutal, but I was watching the show Rome. It was on on HBO or something, and I've just recently watched it. And spoiler, they do beheadings. I did not know that, because one of the Egyptian people beheaded Pompey Magnus, and out of revenge, Caesar beheaded the killer and the harbours of Cleopatra. I know I'm revealing the show, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I was primarily persuaded to watch it because of Cicero as the orator, and this one he's not the prime focus. It's more Caesar, Mark Antony, and someone else as well. Oh, and the two soldiers, Octavius. No, someone else, and Pullo. But yeah, it's if you like ancient stuff, I recommend watching Rome. By the way, please recommend me any sort of ancient shows that are based on ancient times, either documentary wise or sort of show.
Outside the resort.
Probably ship me off to Siberia. This sucks. I hate it here.
Shut up. Drink wolf milk and watch Russian cartoons.
Watch
We now
Russian
return to
cartoons.
popular Russian cartoon Shoe and Shoeless.
Shoe and shoeless. One is meaningless without the other.
India, the most spiritual country in the world.
Yeah, there we go again. It is a joke, yeah. Obviously, it's a joke, but I think subliminally it still feeds into the narrative that it is some sort of second-order nation. I'm not Indian, I'm Bangladeshi, but just any of these countries, any sort of Southeast Asian, or anything non-Western, they just give the perception that it's a bit of a lesser standard. Everywhere has lesser standards, and also has beautiful places that I wish I could see, because I've been, you could say, westernized to see it. London is my home. I've lived here all my life, but
God is not here.
Oh, I thought Paris
Wow.
would be a bit more picturesque. Instead, it's just traffic and some big guy using a jackhammer.
But, monsieur, this is not a jackhammer. It is a jackhammer.
Check. Jacques.
We'll have a happy new life and we'll have equal rights for all. Except blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Jews, gays, women, Muslims. Everybody who's not a white man. Just people from Ireland, England, and Scotland. But only certain parts of Scotland and Ireland. Just full-blooded whites. No, you know what? Not even whites. Nobody gets any rights. America. People...
I don't like. It is sad that that has happened, and I know people say. I think I mentioned this in the other video that just because hundreds of years went by, it doesn't mean because we've rectified the law. The law allows no discrimination. Therefore, we've surpassed racism. No, you haven't. Even now, even today, I still feel. I agree. It's not as tangible. It's not as easily repairable because you can't. It's not tactile. You can't touch it. It's not. You can't see racism in the law. You can't. It's. But when you have a person of color's experience, and again, I'm not one of those people that say people and white people, black people, or anyone can't be racist. Of course, just everyone can discriminate everyone. But when you have groups of people being suppressed, and then you wonder why they rebel, and then when they rebel, you're like, whoa, why are you rebelling, bro? It's like, well, what did you do? What did you do to us? And then you say like, stop mentioning that. Yeah, my ancestors were evil, but I'm not like that. I do feel at that point. That point makes sense. But you can't just erase people's feelings and experiences of that, because even now, like even though I've not experienced any of the stuff that happened in Bengal, in the famine and stuff like that, in the East India Company and stuff, like for some reason I feel bludgeoned by what happened. I feel like I'm connected to it, even though, and I know I'm talking about my feelings here, but this is how many people feel, and a lot of white people can't relate to that. Again, I'm not saying white people can't experience racism, of course. And by the way, my views have changed. I used to be the person that said it's over. I used to be that person, but I think as time goes on, one matures and one grows. Not to say I've yet to, I still have time to sprout and grow and mature. Maybe my views will sharpen as well. But yeah, I don't know. It feels, because I don't want to be an echo chamber. Like, I don't just want my views to be correct. I wish someone could, because it's nice when people comment, but when someone actually rebuts you face to face, where you can have a conversation and you can refine your views then. Because I don't want to seem like I'm wise when really someone can point out an obvious flaw in my argument and expose me. I do like occasionally being exposed.
Sense of fraud.
Gentlemen, it has come to my attention that there is a Chinese among us. Rest assured, he will be found. Security is launching a full-scale investigation into the genealogy records of every single one of our employees. This man will be found, and there will be dire consequences.
Too bad about that Chinese guy, huh? At least some dirtbag from Boston yells at your junk to scare it into working again.
You hear me in there, dum-dum? Let's look alive. Listen, I could be nice about this, or I could get my brother. And he did...
Right, I swear down, I couldn't. Have you? During summer when you're sweating like crazy. It does smell bad, cheesy. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Some serious time for throwing a turkey off a bridge into a car. All right, well,
I'm trying to stay classy. Maybe I ought to.
Well, I gotta go. There's a ripped screen door that needs slamming.
How could a town with so many great colleges produce nothing but dopes?
What's this? See? Why would you do that? And what country is that? It's the island or something. I'm not sure what. I think this is imposed.
What's Teslic? I'm not sure, but my mom says they're very popular with Latvian athletes.
Running, throwing, lifting big things. Teslic. That's all right with me, man. Each shoe sold separate.
Evening. Tonight's top story, Quahog is infested with loud, hairy creatures also known as New Yorkers.
They migrate north every autumn to see the foliage. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that New York and everyone from there can fornicate themselves with an iron stick.
You know, again, a dig at New Yorkers. I was told by someone, basically, because I went to Paris, and Paris is basically London. I mean, it's got zebra crossings, but it's not zebra crossing, because here zebra, the passenger, I mean, pedestrian, has the right to cross. Whereas when I went to Paris, the zebra crossing, what I thought was a zebra crossing, is just a normal road. So you don't have a right. So one time I did cross, and the car's like beeping. Like, what the frick are you doing? Anyway, I was told that all these major cities are basically alike. Of course, there will be slight architectural differences and accents, etc. But essentially, the way the road works, you will have maps everywhere. You'll probably have tourists everywhere. Like you just have different variations of the same things. Is it unnecessary to use a different variation? Can I not just say it's variations of the same thing?
Oh, damn. I say, I seem to have sewn a shoe to my hand. May I go to the nurse? Replace him! Ah!
This is also a sad reality as well. I don't know, because suppose you're morally against a government or a country because of human rights abuses, but in either directly or indirectly, which most of us do, we indirectly support them in their cause by, I don't know, do you consider buying their products as a supporting of Chinese causes? Like, you know, when you see made in China everywhere, you buy Chinese products. Or at least you not buy Chinese products, but you incentivize more business in China because it's supply and demand thing. This is why I need to do more understanding of economics. If you have any, I want to read purely good resources on stuff. Problem is I just don't know, because I don't like reading sort of opinion-based stuff, even though we all have opinions, and I do like hearing opinions. Actually, I do like opinions, but what I mean is, when it comes to academic stuff, I want someone who's thoroughly researched. Not like, you know, those books where it's on the top selling list. I hate those books, because they're just for its time. They're just like social or cultural trends for its time. Like, I don't know, White Fragility was on there. I don't even care if it's true or not, what the content of it. I just won't buy it, because for me, anything that's like top selling isn't academic.
Faster! Well, how do you mean? High school's like Lord of the Flies. It's a social nightmare.
I love that book.
And I hear Canadian high schools are even worse.
Well,
rather the film.
Look who matriculated to grade 9.
Someone wants to get into university. Hey, guys, I'm sorry. Well, you're gonna be sorry when we put you in the hospital for free, eh?
We now return to Captain Central America.
Actually, no. This is again going to be a long video. I don't necessarily know how the American system works, healthcare system works in the US. Again, that was unnecessary. I said American and then US. But it's bizarre to everyone else outside the US that you would have to pay for insurance and stuff like that. Especially when it's... Because we can understand if it's... you have a dentist, a private dentist or something, then yeah, you pay, because it's not really necessary for you to get extra whitening stuff. These are just additional aesthetic and hygiene reasons. Whereas, you know, you feeling ill, it's not up to you whether you feel ill, you know, and yet you have to pay for that. And not even that, I heard someone say you can actually, you have to pay not just for like the service, but just even little things, like talking to someone, that in and of itself, and you have to pay for an ambulance.
It worked!
Gracias. What are my powers?
Oh yeah, it's weird. You're like really good at painting my living room. Up, and get it done by Saturday. We're having a party.
Leave this, Joe. This is like living in Russia. I might as well just move there.
You don't want to do that. It's dark, it's cold, and hooking up is just a crapshoot because of all the big coats.
All right, drop the coats on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. You two are kicked out of paradise. Unless you want to buy a nice pot. Can I put my keys in it? No. Fine, we'll leave. But where will we live? The opposite of Eden. Well, Florida,
Jackson,
time to
Florida.
fit in. Let's go have
Is that's obviously a dig, but is that, I'm not getting it. Is it because it's dirty, or the people there?
sex with gum in our mouths?
They're Chinese. The Japanese have a whole other thing going on.
Hey, you want to see a movie? Nah, we're Japanese. Let's go watch a schoolgirl bang an octopus. Yeah!
Yeah, why is it that, like, you know, I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And all these, why is it like the girls are always, I don't know, man, they always look hyper cute, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Wouldn't have it, but I'm pretty sure modern shows will probably have it, but the girls are actually,
I feel good.
yeah, like that.
We can't do that. Don't you know a lot of discarded electronics end up in the ocean and kill sea turtles?
Well then, let's cut out the middleman. I'm sorry, there's a new phone. That was cool. I got to go to Fiji for that. They got a ton of turtles there. You can kill them. Nobody cares. Man, Texas is great. Back where I'm from, a retarded guy could never have this much fun.
What'd you just say?
What? Technically, I'm retarded. Fellas, can't we talk this over?
Talking's for terrorists and blacks. In Texas, we execute the retarded.
Oh my God, so this is how it ends? Half of Jensen there, I can tell you, it gets pretty sticky.
But I never lost me good spirits, I haven't.
So let's get up there, be
Again,
safe,
where the hell
and
do you
back
get
to
these
the big
people?
fat pigs of wives we have waiting at home.
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to join.
What are your qualifications?
I have a British accent. I'm possibly homosexual. I never brush my teeth, and my wife is ghastly.
Bombs away.
In fact, I got you a bunch of new top-notch American-made stuff.
Is that Rush Limbaugh? He just passed away, so
What else did you buy?
Oh, a couple things.
I
That
think
light
that's
fixture?
Rush.
New heat regulator on your stove?
You know, there's an argument about whether when one dies, you sort of because some people might say I'm going to make this abstract, that when someone passes away, they're better off, the world is better off without them. That may be true. Like, from a global perspective, you might say that may be true. But as a person, it's just weird to say euphemistically, to rejoice in someone's death, even if you think it was warranted. It's perverse to sort of like it. But then again, suppose I were a victim of or you know, a family member was a victim of a brutal murder, and then I find out that this person is himself or herself gone. Would I rejoice? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think maybe we can be that petty. It's possible that I am that petty. I wouldn't like to be. I wouldn't like to rejoice. Even the worst criminal, so the worst the worst crime imaginable, from a human perspective, it just, maybe I'm not thick-skinned enough, because people used to kill each other all the time, and I guess people did celebrate death in the sacrifice for a bigger goal, like freedom or something. It just seems odd.
Your man, brah? Your garbage?
But it also, you have to make sure, I think, to not deify them. And just after they're gone, then you show only their good points. I think, if you're a family member, yeah, you're obviously gonna pick the good points. But I think from an objective standpoint, if they're a public figure and done some pretty nasty stuff, it's odd to just, I don't know what my position is on this, but yeah, instinctively it doesn't sit right to...
Garbage disposal, your dishwasher, and your new cat.
Well, I thought America was the greatest.
This looks like Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Oh, I remember this episode. This is when Santa, when he dies, says something like Allahu Akbar or something. It's funny.
Oh boy, get ready for the letters. Dear Family Guy bastards, who the hell do you think you are?
Who the hell do you think you
I'll
are?
have you know that Bridgeport is among the world leaders in abandoned
The world
buildings,
leaders
shattered
in
glass, boarded
shattered
up windows,
glass.
wild dogs, and gas stations without pumps. So eat my Jew writers.
Connie must really
You
mean
say
business. Like an Armenian kid in a candy store.
Hey, little boy, can I help you?
Yes, I wish to buy business and turn into car wash.
Welcome to Ireland. We'll be landing in 5 minutes.
This is quite a country, Brian. You know, Ireland has more drunks per capita than people.
Oh, that's a negative stereotype. I don't think the Irish drink as much as people say they do.
Bloody hell, man. I obviously don't drink, but bloody hell.
I found out that your real father was a drunken Irishman. I went to Mexico to terminate my pregnancy. But God had other plans, and you were born right there.
He just blew away the umbilical cord.
You were born right there.
How the hell did you do that? Look. He just blew away the umbilical cord. What the frick is this? Okay, yeah, I'll leave it there. Alright, so that was Family Guy roasting every place. Yeah, I like Family Guy. I haven't watched it in a while. I guess I talk a lot in the videos, and you know, one thing I've been trying to do is choose my words without stuttering, without repeating myself. It's a harder feat to do, because I'm trying to think on the spot of what to say, something witty, something this and that, and yeah. But Family Guy is probably one of a couple favorite shows. I wouldn't say my best favorite, but in terms of cartoons anyway, it's my go-to. If I've got nothing else to watch and I'm feeling a cartoon, Family Guy is always going to be. I think I mentioned in my first Family Guy reaction, my favorite episode. It's probably when Brian and Stewie were locked in the bank. My favorite episode, because it was just the most real episode. There was no inside jokes. Well, maybe a couple, but it wasn't based on a typical episode. It was just an intimate Brian and Stewie moment, and yeah, I think, yeah, and it resonates with me, because I think that's how a lot of friendships happen, where you're afraid to be so open and vulnerable, especially guys. I'm all over the place. In my next video I'll probably elaborate. If you want to see more reactions, please like and subscribe. And once again, you get a free candle. Look, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, how does that happen? It smells nice though, and when you light it, it glistens or glittens. I don't know. Much love, peace, take care, bless.